A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
And welcome in High Noon. It's the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. for parts unknown, a.k.a. the Panhandle, if you know it. 38, what's up? Happy to be with you on this Monday here with Tommy Wirtz, Mason Crosby joining momentarily.
I'm here.
Things go crazy. Oh, there he is. Mason is here.
I was live on audio. I just trying to get my camera
Trying to get your video all set.
Yeah.
All right. So who had a better weekend? Who is the bigger start today? That's where we got to start things off today. Is it Braylon Mullins with the buzzer beater 3? Is it Bryce Terang, who's the best player in the history of Major League Baseball? Or is it big-time Tommy Wirtz, who is now the king of all Brewers media in Wisconsin and beyond? Where he's got that, he's rocking the hat. Mason.
Yeah, I mean, you know my answer.
We are working with a future legend here, and I love it. I am here for it. Like, I am here for all the flowers for Tommy Wirtz.
Is there anyone else on the radio right now in the state of Wisconsin more than Tommy Wirtz?
No,
there's definitely not.
There's just not.
You hear his voice more than any other voice in the history of Wisconsin sports. And, hey, I think we're here for it, and we're going to be hearing it all year. And if it goes like this weekend did with this Brew Crew, I mean, I will not accept a loss. You know that, Tommy. I will not accept a loss from this Brewers team.
The Brewers
this whole season.
They could not have emotionally started worse for you because now you are bought in.
I know they got me, hooked me right in.
You are going to be a mess all season long.
I hate it so much.
Yesterday was interesting because it felt like we were heading towards maybe the first loss of the season, and then I think Christian Yelich just regained everyone's trust again, too, on top of that.
Yeah.
2-2-2. Fly ball in deep right! It is way back, it's gone! Yelich delivers in the clutch.
Oh, man, Jeff Levering in midseason form there, too, on Brewers TV.
How epic.
No
I
doubt
mean, did you hear that crowd? I mean, how epic was that? That was electric.
Mitch, did you think like the last 2 days, I think there was 34,000 on day 3, 36,000 on day 2. Like that seems like pretty big day 2 and 3 crowds over the years.
It absolutely is. So Mason, I don't know if you were on, but we were talking about my favorite day to go is day 2. Like, everybody can have opening day. Opening day is great, but the real fans. And for years, it was 15,000. It was 17,000. It wasn't empty, but it wasn't a great crowd for day 2 or day 3. You know, because everybody got so geared up for opening day that a lot of people aren't coming to multiple games in one weekend. But to get sellout on opening day and then go 36 and 34 or whatever it was is a huge number, and it shows how excited. And Mason, you're the ringleader. I mean, you are when this team is winning, you are like the king in charge of the Brewers fan brigade.
I'm riding high and I'm riding the lows, and I'm just going to be riding this roller coaster all year long. But what a great way to start this season. I mean, they're putting up runs. And I asked this to both of y'all last night, though. I was like, okay, are the White Sox really bad, or is this Brewers team really good? And then, you know, like we like to say, and this is, you know, Mitch, I love when he says it, both things can be true in this situation.
Yep.
And I don't know if the White Sox are horrible, but the Brewers did what they needed to do against a team that was inferior. And that excites me for the season, where it's like, you just came out and you said, this team cannot play with us. We are going to dominate.
Yeah. Can I change the subject just on a half a second here? My mother just texted me.
And then I want to get back to that point.
My mother just texted me and said, I missed the beginning of the show. Why does Mason have horns? because of the light fixture.
The light fixture.
The light.
She's always watching. I feel like I just need to set everything up just so your mom doesn't
just
give me a hard time.
Just had to let you guys know.
Where do I go from here?
But Mace, I want to get back to your point about you can win series. And it's great when the Brewers win a series, win 2 out of 3. And that's what we want the Brewers generally to do against bad teams, against teams that are better. Then you win that series, you're gonna do pretty well. But when they come out and win all 3 games, this goes across all sports, right? This is something that football can relate to. This is something that NBA, this is something college March Madness can relate to. Yep. Like, you have to step on that team that's not as good as you. And what does it say coming out of the gate? Like, we know the Yankees went 3-0 and stepped on the Giants. We know the Dodgers stepped on the Diamondbacks. And I think the Marlins and the Blue Jays are the other 2. There are 5 undefeated teams so far. But for the Brewers to not, they played with their food a little bit yesterday. They got down 7-2. But that's going to happen. But to then stick with it and not mail in a Sunday afternoon game, like, what does that say about this team?
Well, already? I think we got to talk about some of the groups here that are important to this Brewers team, where you talked about these other teams. Yeah, they have, but I think there's going to be some fear as you look at, and I've seen multiple publications about this bullpen. This Brewers bullpen is like, I've seen multiple places saying best in baseball right now, right? Like it. I think that is going to be a space where when you come and face this team, you know that you're not going to it's never going to be a cakewalk. Like, all right, we got the starting pitcher off the mound. That does not matter. This bullpen is going to come and deal, and then they're going to play great defense. So to get runs against this team might be a tough task for a lot of clubs this year.
Well, and also remember that number we kept looking at last year on if the Brewers would score 4 in a game, right? They won 83 games, scoring 4 or more runs in a contest last year, which they ended up breaking their single season record for most wins. And then most of that game yesterday, they never got to that. They weren't at that 4 mark until the 8th inning, right? And everyone kind of felt like this is the natural ups and downs roller coaster of a Brewers offense. But to your point, Mason, the bullpen has been unreal to start the season. 15 innings almost, just 1 earned run. And yesterday, they gave up 7 runs, all of them coming from Brandon Sproat in his debut for the Milwaukee Brewers. As important as the offense was, the bullpen not allowing anything to happen after that is a massive key.
Wasn't that in the first,
game.
2-3 innings, something like that?
Yes,
3 innings, right?
3 innings.
3 innings?
Jeez.
3 innings for Sproat, and they gave up 7. I mean, they gave up the grand slam. That felt like Nestor Cortez pitching last year in the first inning, where it was the first 3 pitches of the game, homer. Sproat obviously was a little more erratic, and I think he had some first start nerves going around. But Mitch, even thinking about Sproat, there's really not a lot of room for error on this team. Robert Gasser had a great start in Nashville to start things off for AAA, and there's still a guy like Logan Henderson just waiting. Like, they might have a short leash on a lot of starting pitching this year because Quinn Priester could be back sooner than later as well.
Yeah, and we talked about how deep the starting pitching is, right? And that there are guys in AAA who in other organizations would be in the starting rotation, and how young it is. So it's Sproat, Harrison's going tonight. These are young guys getting really their first opportunity. Sproat pitched a little bit with the Mets last year. Harrison pitched a little bit with the Giants and the Red Sox last year. But I think you need to have a little bit of a leash. But you're right. I mean, if something mechanically is not right, Hook's going to figure it out. The team's going to figure it out, and they'll send you down to the minors for a month and bring somebody else up. And that doesn't, to me, almost, Mason, and football is different because you don't really have minor leagues. But to me, it's not a diss if you get sent to the minors to work on something, if they still think like you're going to be a stud. It's just like, let's just get this cleaned up, and we trust you, and we have other guys we trust. Again, 2 things can be true, and it's just how strong of a position this organization is coming from.
Yeah. Are we cautiously optimistic about Harrison coming, getting on the mound tonight after what Sproat did yesterday? Is it kind of like, Are we a little more nervous than maybe we were before? Like, kind of, there was an excitement about Sproat and Harrison. Like, what can they bring to the table? Sorry about that. Now, after Sproat's outing yesterday, it's like, does that change how we view Harrison getting a bump? Where it's like, gosh, are we a little nervous that these guys aren't quite ready yet?
I think that Sproat get dealt a shorthand on Caro's first ever start too. I mean, I don't know how much of a deal it played, but every single day, Pat Murphy says credit to William, credit to Bill, right? Yeah. Every single day in post-game and pregame. And now you get Caro's first ever game. Maybe not. First ever game.
Yeah, maybe, that's a weird decision.
Maybe not. Maybe it's not something to really look into, but they didn't help Sproat by any means giving him Caro instead of William for his first ever outing for the Brewers, I think.
No, I think, listen, it wasn't a great start, and that's okay. That's going to happen.
Yeah, he had his issues too.
But this isn't a panic situation by any means. By the way, the Brewers do lead Major League Baseball in runs after 3 games, 29 runs in 3 games. They are second in batting average. The team is hitting 337. The Rays, who are coming to town, are actually first. They're hitting 339. They're third in the league in runs. So if you like the overs at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, you might want to take some overs this weekend or this week. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. 414-677-1250. If you want to give us a text and your thoughts on the weekend, and you want to give us a call, that's cool too. Obviously, we had March Madness. Matt LaFleur spoke this morning. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, is going to join us at 1 o'clock. We've got all sorts of fun things to talk. And Mason, you know what this is like after a Packers win. How much better Monday morning is in the state of Wisconsin after a Packers win. And I got to be honest, like, today feels like that. Like opening 3-0 after the debacle in New York last year. Like, this feels like the Monday morning after a Packers win. That's how excited and happy I am right now.
Well, and I think like the timing couldn't be better, as the Bucks are just not even an NBA basketball team anymore. I do think that like timing of this baseball season starting is perfect, because I do think sometimes when the Bucks are rolling, the first month of the season of like baseball, we're watching and we're engaged, but I think everyone needed this, and the Brewers delivered, and Yelich delivered yesterday, and he said, "You know what? We'll take over from here. Bucks, y'all rebuild. You figure out what you're doing. It's Brewers baseball time. We're coming into summer."
Real quick, and I know I'm in a state right now where I can wager legally from my phone. I'm not going to humble brag. I'm just going to brag. Saturday, the Spurs and the under. Because the Bucks had nobody who could score. Oh, parlay that up, baby. I hit that big time on Saturday. Big win. Tommy, before we get to Ken in the Falls and whoever else is waiting on the phone line, can we just hear Yelich one more? Like, I just want to hear Yelich one more time.
Yeah, let's hear that crowd.
It just feels good. He crushed that ball. Tommy, I don't remember Yelich. Like he hits some bombs sometimes, but but he destroyed that ball.
111 off the bat, 421 feet, and a bat drop that I didn't think Christian Yelich was that gangster, to be honest.
He had swag. That was swaggy.
That was more the surprise of the swing. It wasn't that he could do that to a baseball.
His look, right?
It's just like on the other side, like, what's up? Let's FCC go. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I love it.
But then once he hit first base, he was Christian Yelich again. Did you notice that? He was all business, head like down. Normal. Like, yeah, exactly. He totally like got jazzed.
Put the work in.
Right. And again, it's game 3, but it's I mean, if you were a fan in the stands, I saw a couple videos from fans who were in right field, like videoing that live and just losing their brains as that ball is flying out there. All right, 414-677-1250. Let's get to Ken in the Falls. You're first up on the Mason Crosby Show today.
Well, it's a glorious Monday in Wisconsin, especially after what transpired with this Brewer team on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. But it's also nice not to be talking about torpedo bats and being down, being 0-4 instead of 3-0. which is always something nice. And going to a couple of your points when we're talking about pitching, for many guys, they don't start hitting their stride till I'd say a good 45 days into the season. It takes a while. Yeah, you had your spring training and everything, but it's just like in any pro sport or any sport where you're invested in it. It takes you a bit to get rolling, and to see the Brewers come up in the manner that they are, the team as a whole under Murph and how he prepares his guys, no matter who's in the lineup, is really encouraging. So the offense comes out, they do their job. The defense comes out, they do their job. Yeah, we had a little a problem there with Sproat, but big deal. Like you said, Mitch, we're very deep in terms of pitching in the minors and guys that are going to be coming up. Same thing with offense. Here, we got two of our top players that are out with hand injuries, and guess what? Next man up, they step up and they do the job. So it's going to be an exciting season. And by the way, we're 96 wins away from my prediction. So, and I'm pretty good with these dang predictions. So we're getting there. We're getting there, boys. It's going to be a fun season, to say the least.
I love Kenny, from your mouth to God's ears. Let's get to 99. Ken, thanks so much for the call, my friend.
Yep.
Man, Mason, can you imagine what the summer's going to be like if they are on pace to win 99 games?
Just set records. I'm already envisioning like like a 3-game losing streak now. So, that's where my mind's going. I just want to be pleasantly surprised, throughout this whole season. My mind's going to go negative, and then they're going to change my mind every game.
I got two things. Number one, did you guys see that? So I told this story on post game yesterday. The guy who caught Colson.
Wait, Tommy, you were on the radio yesterday? I didn't know.
Just get ready. The streak starts today. I'm going for DiMaggio. Now
let's go.
The guy who caught Colson Montgomery's homer caught Murakami's homer the day before. He caught the same. Is it
that Sean guy?
It's Sean that I know.
Sean,
that's unreal.
And so
I heard. I was listening yesterday.
He called into the post game yesterday. He has caught 70 in-game home runs.
What?
Yeah, he
that's
sits
insane,
in
Mace.
He's
in a good spot.
Yeah, tundra territory. If you want to get a homer, you got to spend a little money and get lucky. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up,
right field bleachers.
How much are we buying in on this guy for the Brewers season?
Ground ball right side, base hit. The Brewers are back on the board.
There you go. That's a nice approach right there. The four-seam fastball up and away, 97 miles an hour. He just kind of laid the bat on it and found that big hole between first and second. They had a drive and a run, a big 2-out base hit for Lockridge.
Yeah, that was a surprise. I was like, please say his name.
Yeah, you've been high
Please
on
say his
Lockridge since spring training. So, I mean, I obviously
he's been a different dude this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be a guy that can help this ball club, no doubt.
Well, and when we get
Ortiz?
the Chorion news,
how about Ortiz's?
Right, I was going to say. I thought you were going to play Ortiz.
That's what I thought you were going to play because we've had some moments last year, talking and like everyone's wondering how Ortiz. But that play he made, sliding on his knees, that double play was fantastic.
Right, and Lockridge and Ortiz teamed up for a nice gun down to the runner at the plate.
Hayes rips one to left. Lockridge tries to cut it off. He will, but now it's bobbled. They're going to send the runner around third. Ortiz has it. Played the play. He's toast. What a relay from Joey Ortiz.
Wow. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close.
Lockridge baited him. So baited him.
Right. Like Lockridge bobbled it for a second on purpose just to get the guy to go. And then they were like, yeah, I love it. That's so good. No, but, when we look at Chourio out 2 to 4 weeks, when we look at Vaughn, 4 to 6 weeks we're thinking, and what that's going to do. I mean, listen, Lockridge isn't going to replace that power, we don't think. I mean, he hit a couple in spring training, but he's not that power guy. But if he can be what he was in spring and what he was this opening series, just making contact, getting on. I saw one of the Brewers, I think it was McGill, post-game, I don't know if it was yesterday or Saturday, talking about how, like, man, if you're a pitcher on an opposing team, there's not one guy in this lineup
Yeah.
who doesn't see 7 pitches in a bat.
Right.
Like even if they get out, they are battling, they are fouling balls off, they are looking at balls, they are not swinging at balls out of the zone. And man, that's got to be frustrating for these pitchers who just want a quick inning, who just want a 1, 2, 3. The Brewers just don't give that to you. Even their outs make the guy work.
Yeah, you got Vaughn going on injured list, and then Sanchez coming in and hitting home run, right? Like it's like your fill-in guys are stepping up, and I think this team is just built that way. I mean, the depth and the core, and like how this team is expected to come out every day and perform. Gosh, it's fun to watch. It's special. I'm a huge baseball fan these days, and I'm all in on all of this.
Also, I really like David Hamilton. Like, I just think that guy is a Brewer, man. I mean, he reached base on the catcher's interference, stole a base, and then scored and played really good defense at third and shortstop on opening day. Did a very similar approach in his second game too. I don't necessarily see him as he's obviously not an all-star or anything along those lines, but he is going to be the scrappy guy on the Brewers team that's just doing everything the right way, it feels like at times. And if you didn't see over the weekend, Caleb Durbin 0 for 12, 5 strikeouts, and had 2 balls leave the infield.
And then I saw, did you see the Reese Hoskins play? And where was
that?
Did you see when
Cleveland?
What's that?
He's with
Is that
Cleveland.
Where he is? Cleveland?
Yeah.
At Cleveland. He goes, I think bases loaded, ball will pop up to center field. And he tags up and but he doesn't run hard and then doesn't make a play at the plate and just gets tagged out at home plate. It was so some of these guys that aren't with the Brewers anymore, they're not doing as well in other spots. So,
other than Joey Weimer, thank you for your service over the weekend, Joey Weimer.
8 straight plate appearances, reaching base for the Nationals.
Yeah, against the Cubs.
Yeah,
beat the Cubs twice over the weekend.
Let me ask you before we go to break. Is Bryce Terang going to go 20 straight games to start the season? I mean, he only has 6 hits. He had a bad first outing, only had the one.
He's so good, man.
God, he's ridiculous.
He's just
so good.
If you have a child who wants to play baseball and you're like, who should he watch? Bryce Terang is the answer.
He just does it all really
well. Does it all every single time.
And how is this last year they have the rights to him?
No, 2029.
Okay.
No,
so he's still around. Because I was like, oh my gosh, pay the man.
Well, but they're not. I don't know if you saw over the weekend the Cubs signed Nico Horner to a 6-year, $141 million deal.
Seriously,
which is what Bryce is going to get.
I thought it was 114. Was it 141?
I think it was 141.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's different.
I'm pretty sure.
So let's enjoy Bryce while we have him. So let's enjoy.
Don't even. No, he's going to be here for a long time. Don't you say that. Don't you put that on me, Crosby.
Okay. He's already tied for the league lead in doubles. And you know what? I love Bryce Terang as a doubles guy. I know he doesn't have a home run yet, and we want him to hit some home runs. But if he's a doubles guy, I think he's even more locked in than when he tries to hit home runs. If he's doubles, he is one of the best hitters in baseball.
I love him.
All day.
All right. Let's get to we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about Matt LaFleur spoke at the owners meetings. Was that what it was? Owners meeting?
Yep.
Where are they, Mace?
I don't know. I think traditionally they're down in Florida.
Yeah. I should go drive area. 8 hours across the state and scope that out.
Exactly.
Right?
They're just over there discussing what special teams rules they're going to change to just make it harder.
Well, it doesn't matter for the Packers anyway because they're not gonna play special teams anyway. So who cares?
The Packers actually filed for it to be called We Fence officially next year, across the NFL.
Oh, please stop.
414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. That is our phone number here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Text us or give us a call on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to talk about what Matt LaFleur, who spoke earlier today, what did he have to say about the offense, about special teams, about some players maybe not buying into the Packer way last year, and what they can do to fix that. This is the Mason Crosby Show.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Tommy Wirtz. Mason Crosby in the house. He's got he moved away from the deer antlers so nobody can confuse whatever's going on in the background. It makes it good. Can I just say that, Mason, I was driving down, we're driving down to Florida Thursday, Friday. And Thursday night, I'm on my phone and I turn on and there's this wholesome Instagram live going on with two really cute people drinking some wine and eating some steak. So if you're not following Crosby's Crew, CRU, on all the socials, it is like Mason and Molly Crosby are so in love. Like, they just love each other so much. And sometimes they need a break from their kids so they can eat some steak and drink some red wine. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it was a nice little date night. Yeah, we got everyone.
And you were rocking the Brewers hat.
Yeah, I had the Brewers stuff on. We were talking about opening day and just, it was nice. It's nice for us to connect. And our hope is that people will get the wines with us and enjoy and sit around and, we can just kind of have a little party every week or so and wind down Wednesdays, just have some fun. It's been, if anything, it's good for Molly and I just to have an excuse to sit down, have a glass of wine and enjoy a couple moments that are scheduled, not for the kids.
So you were responding to a couple of my comments on the video, but I like, is there a chance Molly doesn't know who Thunder MKE is? Like, does she not like she knows who I am, obviously.
Yeah.
But is there a chance, like, when she sees Thunder MKE, she didn't put it like together that was Mitch?
Probably, yeah. As she looked at it right away and just saw the name, but I obviously saw it. I think.
Did you see me comment? Because I actually commented on Wednesday night too.
Did you? No, I did not.
I said nice hat. That's all I did.
Oh, that's surprising for you.
I know.
I figured you would have thrown in something like some troll comment.
I know. I wanted to, but I did it for Molly. No, dude, no. It's gross. I wish I was the same guy.
You're just mature. Oh. I mean, you're moving to where you
know. All right. NFL PA report card grade reaction.
Whitefish Bay.
That's all right, what we have.
Let's talk LaFleur. Let's talk what's going on.
Yes.
Did you hear his comments here? Matt Schneidman and Ryan Wood doing a great job covering this over here. The first thing I wanted to play for you guys, Matt LaFleur reacting to his NFL PA report card that kind of got leaked, even though it's never supposed to get leaked.
I try not to you kind of take that with a grain of salt. Certainly, you don't want to just dismiss that stuff. You got to look into it. I feel pretty confident with my conversations with the majority of our players, but certainly some guys felt a certain type of way. And the one thing I've learned in this business is you can't please everybody. You can't be all things to all people. And ultimately, you got to make decisions that you feel on the best interest of your football team. But I would never, if anybody wants to, whether it's staff member, player, or anybody else within the organization, I guess something for me, I'd be crazy not to listen to it.
Crazy not to listen to it there.
Right, I agree with that. But I guess my reaction for a player, Mason, would be like, you can't please everybody, but isn't one of like the organization's jobs to please the players who you're paying millions of dollars to like perform? Don't you want to keep them happy with like the extra stuff so they can do their best on the field?
You'd think that, yes, like players win games, right? We talk about coaching, player, all the thing. Like, it is all tied together. But if you don't have players that are like happy with the situation, that are putting everything forward because they're coming to the team. Sure, they're getting paid good money, but you're also, expecting them to buy in completely to what you're trying to put in front of them and like your expectations and this culture and all these things. And if guys aren't happy, yeah. And I think LaFleur addressed it well. He said, if somebody's not happy, like he's like, I do think that's his mindset is like, I don't want to hear about it on a report card. Like,
right.
Come and talk about it.
Come to me.
Yeah. And so I think, as long as that's the culture and if it's truly, that way, though, guys need to truly feel, though, that they can go to Coach LaFleur and have those conversations. The concern is that, that comment is falls on deaf ears or isn't the way that it's perceived in the building. So
right.
you can say those things, but if it doesn't feel that way to players, if they don't feel like they can come and address and they see things changing, because that's the concern. Maybe guys have addressed things, they don't see the results happening, and then that's where on a report card or something, they're mad. They're just like, well, because it said trust was a big thing, right? Like,
yeah,
that LaFleur doesn't trust his players, right? I think that was the comment. So it's like, if guys were saying, this is how we'd like to see it, or this is what I think would be better and all that, and then they don't see those things actually taking action, that's where you lose trust. Like, that's where you have that disconnect.
Did you notice, I mean, you were in that locker room for 16 years. Like, you see a lot of people coming in and out. Was there like an overall dynamic shift on how you felt, or you could see how other players felt on approaching coaches or expressing concerns or trust issues, just not directed at Matt LaFleur, but maybe in the communication style of those types of people coming into that locker room from year 1 to year 16 noticeably?
Yeah, and I do think it takes time, and that's why I always say you have to have a veteran presence in a locker room, because a vet is going to feel way more comfortable speaking his mind and talking to the coach. Whenever, again, Josh Sitton, TJ Lane, all those guys in their first couple of years, they weren't the same as they were 4 or 5 years down the road, where all of a sudden they are established and they feel confident and they're like, we can say and do the things that we know will help this team. So I do think like those voices have to be developed, but they also they need to be responded to in an appropriate way. And I do think that sometimes they bring guys in a certain type that aren't going to rock the boat, that aren't going to speak their mind. Like, I wonder if in those interview processes, it's just like, you're bringing guys in that are going to do the job. They're going to work hard. They're going to be, grateful to be there and do those things, which you need a piece of that, but you do need some guys that are have a voice and that are going to say the things that need to be said in the right way, because players don't know everything, right? But sometimes a player might say something, it triggers something in the coach's brain. They make a little adjustment and positive things can happen. And our best teams always had that. And like when we had Coach McCarthy on, he talked about that. Best teams I ever coached, and my whole goal always was giving the team and our direction over to the locker room. If the locker room is invested, if the locker room is voicing what's trying to be done, you're always going to be better off than a mouthpiece trying to get everybody to move in a certain direction.
So, Mason, how much of that comes down to lack of veteran leadership and lack of guys on their second contracts or third contracts, lack of guys 30 to 32 years old, where you're the youngest team year after year after year, where it's like guys, haven't built up that trust, and not necessarily with LaFleur, but with the league in general, or with what their lives should be, or their lifestyle should be, or figuring out, finances, figuring out, all those things you figure out in your mid-20s when you're an NFL player, and not having that veteran leader in the locker room who can tell guys what's going on right now, and this isn't the way it should be. So we got to go talk to LaFleur and make this better, or talk to Goody, or talk to policy, or whatever that might be.
Yeah, and we had a leadership council built up of, you'd always have a couple, maybe year 2 or 3 players, some younger guys, but then predominantly older veteran players. To kind of have meetings on a regular basis with coach. So I don't know if they're still doing that there. Those were always, I think, positive and productive meetings to engage with and have those a space to just get that information out there. But I think what concerns me about report cards and about maybe what's going on there is what you're saying is this turnover. So unless the Packers are willing to sometimes make some of their homegrown players the top paid people in the NFL, we're going to keep seeing some of our better players that are drafted here. They're going to go somewhere else unless you can get them to sign a deal, kind of early on. They're going to look at all those things and they're going to say well, if I don't I don't have a voice here. I don't feel like I'm can dictate how I want things to go, they're going to go somewhere else. So you do have to be careful about that, or you're going to lose some good talent after their first contract.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. If you want to chime in on what Matt LaFleur talked, we're going to go over some more of his comments, but certainly starting with the report card and whether there is trust in that Packers locker room. Can things be better for the players? Tommy, what do you got?
Well, I have a longer clip here. It's about 2 minutes. It's almost 3 minutes long. But Matt LaFleur, Ryan Wood, our guy down there for the Green Bay Press Gazette at the meetings, asked Matt LaFleur what it'll take to push the Packers past the NFC's 7th seed. Unprompted, he brought up players' discontent rather with their roles last season. And like I said, Matt LaFleur wasn't even really asked about it, but this is what he had to say.
I think, if I'm being honest about it, I think there were some guys that were upset about roles last year, and I think that took a toll on our football team. So you need guys that bring great energy every day. I think from a coaching standpoint, role clarity is key. So we got to obviously do a better job communicating with our players. Hey, here's your role, and if you're unhappy about your role, it's on you to do something about that, to carve out a bigger role on this football team. But the buy-in is absolutely critical. Getting guys in there that are juiced, that are ready to go to work each and every day is going to be critical for us.
So some of those guys no longer on the team?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into each individual, but I just think it's an overall, at least the overall philosophy that I have for our football team.
Do you think that had something to do with the NFLPA report regarding your respect for players?
I'm sure that had something to do with it, but I try not to. You kind of take that with a grain of salt. Certainly, you don't want to just dismiss that stuff. You've got to look into it. I feel pretty confident in my conversations with the majority of our players, but certainly some guys felt a certain type of way. And the one thing I've learned in this business is you can't please everybody. You can't be all.
Yeah, and then we get into what he already said there. But at the beginning, talking about the coaching staff being them, not communicating the roles properly, the players having a different understanding of what their role was with that team. And then when asked again on whether or not those players were still on the team, he said, I'm not going to name anyone, but so kind of feels like maybe one of Romeo Doubs, a Quay Walker, or one of these, maybe not Malik Willis, obviously. But
what more of a role can those guys? Are we talking leadership or what? Like those guys were starters. They played significant roles on this team. Maybe Doubs, whenever Christian Watson came back, wasn't happy that he wasn't a main target anymore.
I think that with your comments, what your conversation was with Mitch's question about leadership and the youth being in there, I think Romeo Doubs is going to be a good option to go look at another team where he did come in and he was a part of the youngest roster. And maybe while he's not, a Mike Evans level of seniority in the NFL, he's going to be a little bit of a younger guy, but still expected to be a massive leader in that wide receiver room with the money they just dished out for him for the New England Patriots this year.
Also, there's also been issues with him, in Green Bay for speaking his mind. Didn't he get suspended? Wasn't that a game for team, detrimental to the team or issues there?
He had something that went away that.
He clearly wanted more of a voice that he wasn't given there in Green Bay. I think he wanted more of a voice and a leadership role. Here's something that LaFleur said. I've talked about this a million times, and all year, whenever this was happening, I talked about communication and clear-cut identifying of what guys' jobs are and what they expect from you. LaFleur responded to that, and he said that seems to be something that a lot of guys were talking about, right? Is we had discontent with the communication about our roles and what you were expecting of us and where we stood. And so at least that's been talked about. Now it needs to be put into action. Are you going to have those tough conversations? Are you going to clearly lay out what you expect and what roles each guy is going to have? And as a good coach, how are you going to, like, where is your path to get a different role if possible, right? And LaFleur said all the right thing. I actually really liked his answer there, and he seemed to handle it in a good way where these guys, there was discontent. And it's crazy to think, though, towards the end of the season, you lose 5 straight games. If guys aren't happy, like, and they're not sure what their role is, or they have discontent, it shows up on the field. That is like and yes. Football especially. I mean, football is the hardest. If you have a fracture and guys aren't on the same page and somebody wants something that they're not getting, like that petty stuff, sometimes it seeps in and it becomes a cancer on a team. And that needs to be addressed right away. First off, this off season, guys need to know exactly what's expected of them moving into the season.
Yeah, I think that's one of the frustrating things as a Packers fan, that this stuff even existed, that Matt LaFleur isn't a strong enough head coach or whatever it is to kind of figure that out. Some of the other things he talked about is, stripping everything down and starting like it's year one all over again when he talked about his offensive staff. He also talked about finishing games. We're going to dive more into this with Peter Bukowski at the top of the 1 o'clock hour, Locked on Packers, when he joins us. We're going to wrap up the first hour. When we come back, Mason Crosby, Tommy Wirtz, I'm Mitch Nellis. We are the Mason Crosby Show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's Monday.
This is not even me. This was just in the bumps. Sparky's got Eric Church in his bumps.
AI's learning.
Where did we get Eric Church?
God, I love AI.
That's insane.
AI's learning what we like.
This is the Mason Crosby Show. It is a throwback country Monday. Let's go.
Finally.
Is it Mason? Don't you feel like whole now? Don't you feel like
why are they trying to change
come
us over
together?
Here?
Right. I don't know. That's a great point. Speaking of someone who needs to change, I know we only got about a minute or two here, but sad news around Tiger Woods. And it's tough because like obviously he has an addiction. Obviously something's wrong. But like, dude, you're worth $1.3 billion. Like, get a driver. Like, don't be a jerk. Don't be don't be an a-hole. Like,
well, he's lucky he hasn't. Yes, he's lucky he hasn't killed himself or someone else or gotten into a situation. Like, his responsibility as a billionaire is to take care of himself and others in that regard. Like I get it though. I mean, these addiction, this stuff. Like, if he's taking painkillers or whatever he's doing, like he's just not fully thinking this through. But I mean, have two drivers. If one has to take the day out, like have a fleet. Like, I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Like
I know, like
Woods,
the internet's undefeated. I don't know if y'all have seen any of those, right?
Dude.
Like, it's like Tiger Woods drivers taking 4 days off in 20 years. It has not gone well for Tiger.
Charlie Woods flipping his commitment to Georgia was crazy.
Oh, it's so bad.
Like that one. That was the satire
It's
I was
tough stuff.
here for.
It's tough stuff. But yeah, I just hope he gets this thing. So, like, I mean, but who knows? I mean, it's hard to imagine that all of a sudden he's going to be like, all right, I'm going to figure this out at this point.
Yeah. You hope somebody can reach him.
He's
Mason Crosby. He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nellis. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, is coming up next. We're going to continue the discussion about Matt LaFleur, who spoke about all sorts of things today at the owners' meetings in Phoenix, Arizona. It's the Mason Crosby Show.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
Hey, welcome into hour number 2 of the Mason Crosby Show. Mason Crosby, Tommy Wirtz, Mitch Nellis with you, efforting Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, joining us. And I know some of the things that we'll get into when we do grab him. Mason, when Matt LaFleur was asked about keeping his offensive staff largely the same, he said, we got to strip everything down and start like it's year one all over again. I'm sorry, what? What? Like I get that every year is its own year, and that you come in with a different attitude, a different mindset.
It's hard to do with the same people. Yeah.
Right. But what, if you keep everybody the same, doesn't that like you just said, doesn't that kind of get in the way, or isn't it?
Yeah. You can't just forget things. You always carry something. And that's what experience is, right? If you want to go back to year one and strip it down, then you're basically saying that you don't like how they coach or like what they did last year, right? So it's like, if you don't like how they did it, then why keep people around? It's an interesting mindset. Yeah, that's fascinating. Because yes, once again, you carry all of that experience along with you. And it's supposed to be a good thing, not a bad thing, right? You're supposed to use that experience to grow and get better. Not to say we've had experience now for the last 7 years. Let's just forget all of that and go back to where we started. Let's become rookies again. I'm not sure that's usually ever anyone's mindset of, I want to go back and be like I was as a first-time coach or a rookie. I don't think that's usually how people approach things after years of success.
I mean, let's flip it to the Brewers. The Brewers could, the won 97 games last year, but obviously were a little embarrassed against the Dodgers. And it was an amazing season. Beat the Cubs in the playoffs, but lost to the Dodgers. What if Murphy come back this year and be like, oh, we're going to strip everything down and start all over? It's no, you have all these relationships, you have all this experience. Don't you want to build on it and do better, but not strip it down and start over? I think that's kind of the weird part of it.
Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, maybe he's just talking about some of their offensive schemes and how they are going to approach, certain situations and things like that, because you're going to always evaluate and always adjust and change. But I don't like just throwing, the baby out with the bathwater type deal, right? You're not just throwing everything down the line. You just nibble at the edges. At this point, you've established something. You've had success. Don't go start don't go start new. Just nibble at the edges a little bit. And that's that would have been a actually more appropriate response with keeping the full staff. Is we're close. Yes. We're just gonna tie down some things, nibble at the edges. Some tweaks. But we kept our whole staff, so we're going back to the beginning. It's no.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Our good friend from Locked On a Packers podcast. He is, always well coiffed. Peter Bukowski. Peter, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I was so interested. I was glad I got on a little early because I could hear the opening to that segment, because I actually took what Matt LaFleur was saying about stripping it down in a different way than at least Mason's initial reading of it, which was to say that he mentions details. And I think when I watch this team, I see a team that is not always on its details the way that it needs to be. And that was something a couple of years ago, Tom Brady said, oh, the intermediate passing game is not very detailed. And I was just like, oh man, that is as critical a thing as Tom Brady has or will ever say about someone. He doesn't say anything critical ever. And that was oh, okay. And you see some of the, Matthew Golden will make big plays. He'll also run the wrong routes. Dontavian Wicks for 3 years has had issues being in the right place at the right time. for the first half of the season, they couldn't pick up a simple TE stunt on the offensive line because guys are changing positions. Guys are, they're doing this, they're doing that. Oh, right guard today. Oh, right tackle today. And part of that is injuries too, right? But what I heard was a coach saying, we need to make sure everyone knows on every play what the responsibilities are and why, and really and when I hear strip it down, I think that everyone, just like the base concepts, have to be watertight. Everyone has to know all the time, or this doesn't work. That's what I like. Let's try. We don't need to be so cute. That's what I hear him saying. And we need to make sure that the foundation is stronger so that it doesn't crack in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah. And the sorry. Was I still talking? My headphones went out, so I couldn't hear myself. I'm like, everything's gone.
Weird.
Yeah.
I know. You're still here.
I'm good now. We're good now. So yeah, whenever I was thinking about it too, is, you talk about that in the demand, like who is, like, which coaches and when are they going to demand at a high, like at a level that is worthy of professional football, right? Like, if you don't get it right, you're not gonna be on my offense. If you're running the wrong routes, you will not be out there. If you're doing these things, you will not step on my field. There has to be a demand there too from the coach's side. And then I remember hearing guys from San Francisco talking about their offense and how it's like it's a graduate level. Like, if you're not studying and learning, it will pass you by and you will look lost out there.
Yeah.
And Coach, Shanahan won't put you on the field if you don't know your stuff. So if LaFleur implements that style, I think that would be amazing, because it does need to be like, here's our expectations, here's your responsibility, here's why this is all happening, and understand that. And now, if you don't dive in deeper, you're going to be left behind, and we have no place for you on this squad, right?
Yeah, I remember, I think it was Ryan Grant was talking about the implementation of outside zone for Kyle Shanahan was like, you'd spend a week on outside zone. And I think that's kind of what Matt LaFleur is getting at here. Like, I think what they were hoping was they'd have continuity with this team, because remember, the 2025 team, not all that different than the 2024 team, that they could just say, okay, you've got year 2 of Jeff Hafley for a lot of the core offensive pieces. They were in year 3 of this offense. I think that they believed they could just take that proverbial next step. You're adding nuances, you're adding layers. And what inevitably happens every year is, remember it's like in high school, right? You're all of a sudden you're in, third year algebra, and you're like, wait, what is the deal? How do we do that one thing again where you
have to relearn most of it every year.
Right. And I think that maybe there was some taking for granted of the knowledge base. That is, I think, partially normal too. So I don't think Matt LaFleur is suddenly going to be like, okay, the offense is now going to be only outside zone, inside zone, RPOs. Like, I don't think that's what they're thinking here. But I think there's value potentially in the youngest team in the league. Again, I think that this is about, okay, let's simplify everything. He saw last year with Jeff Hafley what you could take with the concepts are the same. You dress it up differently, but you're ultimately always going to be here. I think that maybe the offense could benefit from some of that. And I think streamlining this carries in, and we can get into this part of it if you want. But I thought the comments about guys not understanding their roles is actually tied directly to this idea of stripping the offense down, because I think when everyone understands what is expected of them and what is demanded of them, it makes it easier to key in on your details, because you don't have a bunch of Alfreds trying to save Gotham, right? You just need Batman to save Gotham. You can't have everyone feeling like they've got to be Batman. And so I think this year there's some guys who maybe wanted a different role on the team, wanted to be able to do some different things. Quay Walker said on the record he felt like he was not allowed to do the right things. We know Romeo Dobbs was suspended for a week because he was frustrated with the game plan. Malik Heath had some issues, and he's not on the team anymore either. And there may be guys currently on the roster. I assume Mason, you've been in locker rooms with guys who were good players and bad players who thought I should be doing more. I want 53 guys to feel like I could be doing more to help the team, because there's a mindset of like, hey, I believe in my abilities. I want to be out there. But I think it is really useful when you have your best players. It's one of the downsides of having a team full of good players, not great players, because everyone thinks they should be doing more. And
they think
that's
they're
just
right
not
on the verge of being that next star, right? And
right.
so in Green Bay,
like when Devontae was the guy, no one thought they should be Devontae, because everyone knew Devontae was Devontae.
And I was just about to bring up, so we had Randall Cobb on a few weeks ago, and he talked specifically to this. He gets drafted. He's, highly touted. He has all this skill set, but he's sitting behind James Jones and, Driver and Jordy and, all these guys. And he's like, I made sure I knew every position. If any of those guys ever were dinged up or I got tapped to go in, I was going to know exactly not just what route to run, but what everyone else was doing and why I was running this certain route, to clear out a guy, to do certain things. So we're talking about that. And that's, I think, my 2012 season, as everyone knows, was a bad year. And I learned so much from that. And we're talking about what LaFleur is saying, where in 2011, it was my best season to date. And and my mindset going into 2012 was recreate that. Just try to have a season like that, maybe get a little bit better. Like, how do I do that? And I stopped like trying to do all the details and like work on like all the little things that go along. And I think maybe that's what's happened here under LaFleur. And last year it was like you were saying, they said, well, we had some really good things. We're just going to add to it. And like, everyone should know conceptually, we have all the same receivers and players and running backs, offensive linemen. And let's be real, 3 months is a long time. You come back in April, you've forgotten more than you've probably retained. You almost have to say, all right, here is our base offense. We're going to build it from there. Once we understand that for a week or two, now we start adding other concepts. And like, if LaFleur is seeing that, that's a real positive thing.
I remember coming back from high school. It just sparks this memory in my mind. Coming back from high school, and I forgot my locker code. I've been gone for like 3 weeks.
I know.
You're trying to learn so much that it's like that is something that can happen to you. It's also something we used to tease Mike McCarthy about in the media from the outside. And you can tell us or not, Mace, if you were doing it in the locker room with Mike McCarthy. But what did Mike McCarthy say in every damn press conference he ever gave? We have to get back to the fundamentals. And I think this team, they really do. Like it's just like basic offensive line play. Do you know who to block? Basic receiver stuff. Do you know who to cover or what route to run? Basic cornerback stuff. Do you know who to cover? Like, that stuff is the stuff that seems to be falling through the cracks. The talent is really not at this point a question with this team. And that's what makes them ultimately so frustrating.
Yeah. It's little mistakes. And then, like you said, it's knowing exactly. And then also a culture of just because you make a couple plays, like that doesn't mean that you are the guy now.
Right.
Like that is like becoming the guy is consistency over a period of time. I think too many times somebody makes a big play, scores, and then all of a sudden we lose sight of them because their mindset changes and there's nobody there checking and saying, hey, this is your role. It's awesome that you did that, but like, we need you here. And if LaFleur can address that, like he said in his press conference, that is a mindset of what they're going to try to do, be more like clear with the communication of roles. Those are positives in my mind.
All right, I got a question. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. Why is this something Matt LaFleur's saying now? Like, isn't this?
Oh, we haven't heard from him in 3 months.
Well, that's true. But like, why are these, like, is he just evolving and learning as a leader and he kind of sucked before, but now he's like he was good, always a good football mind, but maybe not a good leader. And maybe he's trying to figure out how to be a better leader of men at this point. Like, what is going on that
maybe this will come off as an insensitive metaphor, but I think it's what I'm going through currently. So it's where my mind went. I'm a parent of 2 young kids. The parenting I needed to do with my 5-year-old was not the same parenting I needed to do with my 3-year-old. Yep. And so it changes. So the way you view a team in 2023 and 2024, when you're a young ascending team, the way you need to coach them, the way you grade their performance almost on a curve is not the same as the last 2 years. Or I guess let's just take 2025 when it's go time. It's traded for Micah Parsons. It's now you're good enough to go win the Super Bowl. And I think that changes the expectations. That changes the inputs and the outputs here for Matt LaFleur. And you go, okay, well, now when you're young and you're winning and you're ascending and you're growing and you're building, everyone gets to go, hey, we're in this together. And now it's year 3 for Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks. And it's year 4 for Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. And Keyshawn Nixon's now been in the building for a couple of years. And Carrington Valentine has been in the building. And Quay Walker has been in the building. And Devontae Wyatt. This young team, all of a sudden, they're thinking about contracts. They're thinking about what comes next. And the dynamic changes. It has to. And the coaching has to change with it. And now you're that core. I mean, this is, remember, they totally reset this team in 2023. They're on the verge of having to not totally reset it again, but go through a major overturning of this roster. The 2022 class is, a lot of those guys are gone now. You're going to go through it again in 2023. You have to now coach for the team that you have. And this is a team that has Super Bowl expectations. They're getting paid. Some of these guys now are, when they were on that 2023 team, there were no $50 million players. There was no Micah Parsons level player. There was no Xavier McKinney level players on that team. Josh Jacobs, veteran level players. Now you're adding veterans like Javon Hargrave, Zaire Franklin. It's a different football team. And so I think you just have to coach them differently, right, Mace?
And it's up to those guys to set the tone, right? Like they are now the highest paid players on the team. They're the guys that can just say, hey, this is how it's going to go. Like you follow us and like, we'll lead you to a spot where you can become the next guy or the superstar. Like guys need to, like in sports, it's so important to have something to chase after, right? Like, I think that's like, you've never made it. If you become a professional, that's just the starting point. Like at Micah Parsons, he feels like that type of guy. Like he's made it, but he's never made it. He's still hunting. And you need more of those guys. And I feel like sometimes in that culture, the last couple of years, it's just felt at times like guys stopped chasing something in there. And here, I want to ask this question. I'm not in that locker room, so I don't know what Jordan Love's exit interviews are with LaFleur. And when I was there, they were quick, and he was the backup quarterback and those things. So whenever he was with Aaron's exit interviews, we sometimes would have to, like, everyone would get bumped from the first day because LaFleur, McCarthy, everyone would have. They'd sometimes have 4-hour plus like end of season exit interviews. Like talk about an Aaron, like, and so I don't know what Jordan Love's situation is, but think about LaFleur going from Aaron Rodgers, who was very opinionated, had like everything like laid out what he wanted, and then seemingly like Jordan Love, more of a, like seemingly more chill, like doesn't let things kind of, rattle, like everything is kind of just, he moves along. And I wonder what that dynamic, is. And it almost feels like LaFleur felt like he needed to take on more whenever Aaron wasn't there. Have you felt any of that?
Yeah, and I'm glad that with where you landed on that was ultimately that was Rodgers driven, because the whole time you're saying that, I'm like, that's definitely because Rodgers had a lot to say, and because he's a thoughtful guy. Like he's gonna like I bet he spent the first hour of those conversations just having a conversation. Like he strikes me as the kind of guy that's just gonna talk and likes to do that. And that's part of that cerebral part of him is part of what made him one of the best we've ever seen play that position. I don't have a good, I wish, like, do you guys realize how little we know about Jordan Love right now? Like we don't really know, like we know he's got a wife. We actually know what his wife looks like. And we
know who his wife is.
Her name isn't Blue Childfire. All right. Yeah.
So we know more about him than we know about her.
We know they're having a baby, and we know that they have a very public, love affair. And we know he's like friends with some of the guys on the team, but beyond that, we don't really know that much. And we have to remind ourselves back in, if I'm trying to do the math, like 2011, we didn't know that much about Aaron Rodgers then either, right? Like he was a very private guy, did not do a lot of interviews. And so that's part of it. I think Jordan Love says even less in interviews than Aaron Rodgers did. But I would like
it's different how Jordan Love approaches it. He definitely, I feel like, comes at it more from like a football side, like it's, football, locker room, all that. Aaron would come at it from like this kind of heady, nuanced space, right? Everything
and
he said. Jordan's more direct on like, football and relationship stuff.
And he seems beloved in the locker room. Everyone I've talked to,
he's a great teammate.
Jordan is the dude and is viewed that way in the locker room. And so it's not a one size fits all approach to being a quarterback or a leader. But I loved what Joe Thomas said the other day on radio. And that was, I want him to go in and demand, like, this is what the offense has to be.
Yep.
And I wonder how Matt LaFleur would respond to that, because LaFleur has said all the right things.
Take more ownership of the offense, no doubt.
Well, and when Brian Gutekunst said last offseason, so not this past February, but the February before, what he said was, I want to see Jordan Love take more control of games. I felt that was as much a signal to Matt LaFleur as it was to Jordan Love.
Yeah.
And in the first part of the season, we didn't see that, right? Like there
LaFleur has to let him too, right? Like
this is what I'm saying. Like
unlock it a little bit. Yeah.
LaFleur has to let him. I felt like the season fundamentally changed on Thanksgiving. The multiple fourth downs, the play to end the game, the overall aggression in that game, and I felt like that carried through. Think about the Bears game. They're
lit it up on offense. Yeah,
they and on fourth and goal, you like the touchdown to Romeo Doubs. Didn't everyone think they were going to kick? Like, no way, Matt LaFleur is going to kick there to go up 3 scores. No. They went for it, and they really put their foot on the neck of the Bears in that moment. They needed to press a little harder than they did ultimately, right? But I think that changed, and I would be surprised now if we go into 2026 and we don't see an offense more akin to that, especially because we don't know what this offensive line is going to be from a run game perspective. We don't know health-wise where Josh Jacobs was not at 100% last year. I think Matt LaFleur would like to play a more balanced offense, but every third down, like you could say overall, you felt like Matt LaFleur did not play like he had confidence in Jordan Love, but watch how they call it the game for Jared Goff or Caleb Williams on third down. Even Jared Goff at this point in his career, it's still a lot of screens, it's draws, it's cutesy stuff. Whereas Jordan Love, it's go play quarterback. Go figure it out. It's 3rd and 8, and he's got one of the furthest ADOTs in the league on third down. It's why they were the best third down team in the league last year, because they said, Jordan, go play quarterback, and he did it at an extremely high level. Make it easier for him, Matt, on first and second down, so he doesn't have to be Superman on third down, and maybe you're going to get the best version of this offense. I think they're so close, guys. That's what I think makes this so frustrating. I'm sure it's frustrating for the players and the coaches too, because they have it all within them. They got to find that Goldilocks zone, and then you got to get lucky with some health. Like, you need your best guys. I just saw a stat. The Packers had one of the highest number of different individual starters in the league last year, and 3 of the 4 teams that had the fewest were the final 3 of the final 4 teams in the league last year. Like, sometimes it really is just that simple.
For sure. We got Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, joining the Mason Crosby show. Last thing I have for you is kind of on that. And I talked about it last offseason, and I do think Jordan took another step. But like Joe Thomas, like everyone, he needs to now find his voice. And like you said, Aaron Rodgers was not Aaron Rodgers until after the Super Bowl in that 2011 season. And then there's fans, there's people that are like, they'd be wondering why him and Coach McCarthy would sometimes have issues, like have some conflict and things like that. It's because Aaron was heavily invested in that offense. And so if it didn't look and act the way that he like envisioned it, he in a sense had the right to say, this is not like what the plan was. Right. And so I think Jordan Love, that's his next step, is to say, hey, I want to be heavily involved. This is my, my team, my show as well. Like, but you got to put yourself on the line, right? Because now once you step into that ring and that space as a player, like more weight is on you. But then he can also demand more. I feel like Jordan needs to demand more of his guys, maybe that's not his strength as a leader, but if you take ownership of that offense, he can demand that this is how it needs to be. Guys, y'all are my boys, you're my teammates. I love you, but it has to look a certain way, and we will go win a championship, and I will lead you there. That's the type of leader he needs to morph into, I think, to take this team to the next level.
I think too, the coaching staff they're understanding the body language stuff with Jordan Love and a lot. Like, do you remember the Arizona game where it looked like they weren't going to go for that last fourth down and Jordan Love's coming off the field and LaFleur changed his mind? And LaFleur admitted after the game that he could see how pissed off Jordan was coming off the field and was like, okay, we'll go for it. Like, I think you do need that sometimes, that give and take. Like, it doesn't always have to be the coach or the quarterback coming over and MFing the coach and saying, we got to go. There has to be that give and take of, I mean, he wants to go for it. Obviously he wants to, because it's not always verbalized. Like, we know about every relationship that works at a high level. You have to understand nonverbal communication. You have to anticipate the needs of the other person. That's true in a marriage. That's true in any business relationship that you have. And so, like, I think that's part of this too, is Matt LaFleur can almost anticipate now how Jordan Love is going to react to certain things. And I do think Jordan Love has grown into himself as a leader where he can speak up in the locker room in any way that he wants to.
Oh, for sure.
And I think he should feel that way. And I don't want to say I think he should do it more, because I don't know exactly how much he's doing it now, but I will tell you, everyone I've talked to on and off the record about Jordan Love as a leader raves about Jordan Love as a leader. And I don't know if
they'll go to battle with him for sure.
And I don't know if that's the English teacher in high school that doesn't grade papers and everyone loves. Like, I don't know if it's that, or if it's
interesting.
Or if it's just because he's, a great guy and everyone just, like, they know how good a player he is. I talked to his high school coach, who's just like, by his senior year, he was a really good football player. He always had that quiet confidence. He just has that personality where you want to listen to him. You want to do well for him. And he doesn't even have to say anything. You just sort of know it. I think he's like a really genuine and earnest guy. And I think sometimes that can be as powerful as anything else. And so, you go out and you win a couple playoffs games, you give yourself a chance to go to the Super Bowl, you win a Super Bowl. He's a made man and he can do whatever else he wants. I think that would buy him some equity in the building too, don't you? Like, you go out and have some success in the playoffs, and that allows you, like, Matt LaFleur has at least been to the NFC Championship a couple of times. He's had 13-win seasons. Jordan Love hasn't. So let's see it. And I think that would,
And I think you don't have to go as extreme as like Tom Brady, maybe, like yelling on the sidelines, but there does, like, I don't know what he is, in practice, but inexcusable to drop a pass or run a wrong route. Like, I do think Jordan Love, like, there is a moment in time where you're like, hey, we'll get the next one. We got this. And a moment in time to jump on somebody and say, like, all right, that's enough. You've ran the wrong route 3 times, like, this practice or in this game, or in the, you've dropped the ball. Like, what's going on? Let's, like, this is inexcusable. I cannot, like, depend on you anymore. And I think that's kind of that next step. You can be a great dude, great leader. You can be that cool, confident. At some point, though, you got it. You have to demand it. And again, I think that if Jordan Love gets just even an inkling more of that, this team can go wherever it wants to go.
And I think Micah Parsons, I know we got to jump, but
Micah Parsons, that guy. I
think Micah Parsons is that guy. And when your best player is like that, this is something we talk about with Jeff Jagosinski on our squad show all the time. Your best players have to be those guys. They have to set the tone. And I think I've been so impressed with him as a tone setter in all of this. And sure. Like, I don't think he's the reason Rashawn Gary got traded, but I think he told us Rashawn Gary was getting traded in that last press conference that he gave when he questioned everyone's effort. Like, that was about 52.
Yep.
Tell me what, like, he just didn't, he didn't say the words Rashawn Gary, but that's who he was talking about. And I think that carries weight in the locker room with the coaches, with the front office, when your best players are going, this is not good enough.
Yep.
Now they're not here anymore.
It's time. It's time for Jordan Love to be that guy. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, thank you so much for jumping on today. We had a blast, and I think we settled a lot of things here. We're ready for LaFleur and Love together to take that next step, because we as fans former Packers, reporters, whatever. We're ready to see that. So thank you
Let's
so
see
much
the
for jumping
action.
on today.
All right. Thanks, guys. Later.
Appreciate you.
You bet. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers. Check out all this stuff. When we come back, we will recap the Final Four, some good basketball action in the Elite Eight, including a crazy ending. You all saw it. We will share our reaction to that. Coming up here on the Mason Crosby Show. He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Mason Crosby. We are the Mason Crosby Show.
72-70, Duke by 2. Sarr to key the inbound now. Full court pressure from UConn. Sarr gets it into Cam Boozer. Boozer back to Sarr. Now ahead to Caden Boozer, and UConn got a steal. Caravan for Mullins. Long three. He got it. Oh, he got it. He hit it. He hit the long three-pointer from the logo with 0.3 of a second left to go. I don't believe it. UConn has taken the lead.
72-70, Duke by 2.
Sarr to key the inbound now. Full court pressure.
An absolutely unbelievable finish to kind of a lackluster Elite Eight. Before we get to where you were and your reaction to that game, Mace, I don't know how much you watched Saturday, Iowa, Illinois. Iowa led 51-50, I think, and Illinois went on a big run to end that one. Purdue led by 7 at the half. Arizona ends up by winning by 15. And then the early game, of course, yesterday, having married, into a Knoxville-based family.
Yeah, that one hurt.
A lot of issues with the refereeing, but you don't lose by 33.
Yeah,
the
you think that was the ref's fault?
But then it got really ugly as Michigan absolutely destroyed Tennessee. So 3 pretty lackluster games. Real quick, your thoughts on those 3 games before we get to obviously what was the crowning jewel of the Elite Eight.
Well, so Nolan had some of his buddies over for this young men's service league deal, and like kind of right before that, as their before that was going on, he's like, well, we're watching the Tennessee game, and I'm like, and by the second half, I'm like, Nolan, why are we still watching this? Like,
right.
Like, I get it, but do we want to watch it like a car crash? Is this one of those things where you got to feel it to the end, where it's like, all right, I saw it through. This hurts even worse now that I watched the whole thing. But I mean, Michigan couldn't miss. I mean, they were on fire. Whenever in the the Elite Eight, you can get the coach's son in to hit a 3. Like that's good ball. Like for your team, like your best player, who I think he had 35 points like at the start of the second half for Michigan. Number 23. Crazy. I don't.
Yeah,
know. Is it Yaxel?
Yeah. Yaxel Lendeborg. He's a lottery pick, so he's
good player. But they just couldn't miss, and so that one was just like watching a car crash. You had to watch Tennessee lose that one. I didn't catch a lot of the other ones. It was kind of a wild weekend, but I kind of wish that Michigan and Arizona were not playing each other right now.
Right, like
I think that's the final.
Like, does part of you think that there should be reseeding once you get to the Final Four?
No.
So that you don't have 2 1s facing off.
You guys are so soft. What are you talking about?
We should just decide every round who the best teams are and then reseed them.
This is Crosby trying to work in relegation into every single sport.
This isn't relegation.
Because don't you want the best 2 teams playing the final? I think you do.
Go ahead, Mitch.
I think the winner of Michigan Arizona is going to win the championship.
For sure.
I do.
I totally agree.
And so yes, I would like to see them prove it on opposite ends of the aisle.
I think that if you see Dan Hurley in a back alley, you have no chance. That guy is an absolute psycho, and
he is a psycho.
If anyone can beat any of the quote unquote best teams, it's Dan Hurley, and if he doesn't win, he's going to fight you after.
So let's get to UConn Duke. So that game, I mean, Duke in control, up 15 at the half, like no brainer. Another blowout. All 4 games blowouts. Terrible. As I said earlier in the show, I am in a state right now where I can make live betting, and so I thought I had taken UConn plus whatever it was, 6.5 or whatever the number was, 5.5. And so like the whole time, and like with 5 minutes left, as they cut it to like 7, I look like, oh wait, I have the UConn money line. I bet on UConn to win. I didn't bet on UConn to cover. Much better odds, but I totally in my mind I was like, hey, just get it to 6, and you'll be okay. Just get it to 6. And that the last few minutes of that game, absolutely crazy, and what a disaster of a last possession.
Is this considered one of the biggest meltdowns in like from a 1 seed in tournament history? I mean, this has to be out there.
It was. Didn't you
be.
see the graphic that popped up of number 1 overall seeds were 134-0 when leading by 15 at half in the tournament?
It is. So it's the worst.
It is the worst.
134
and then how it ended. I mean, what is going on? You're up to no time left. Like, what's he passing? Like,
right, dribble the ball.
Make him foul you. Dribble. Like, make him do
dribble
something.
The ball.
I mean, you could have ran the clock out behind the court. Just dribble around.
Right.
Like, oh, that was
insane. There was no reason for that pass. Like, I get it that 2 big guys were around you, but if you dribble
the
ball,
other way, run away.
Right. Right. Yeah, that was a bizarre. And how about that kid who steals the ball, doesn't want to shoot it, passes it to their better shooter, but he's covered, so he passes it right back to him, and the freshman just drills it.
Oh, I know. What a story. And
March Madness.
What this time of year is, that's the moment that will be remembered. There's probably a couple, the St. John, there's a few this year already, but that one above all will be remembered because it's Duke, handing it to him, and then an unexpected person draining the 3 to win the game.
I almost think that Dan Hurley getting in the face of the referee might be remembered just as much as the shot too. Dude,
what's he doing?
What's he doing?
Crazy.
Why do you psychotic? Why do you love Dan Hurley so much? Are you scared of him? Is it you're scared, so you gotta give him? If
I was the ref, and at 0.3 seconds, the other team, a team's coach came up and put his forehead on my forehead when they were down or up 1 with 0.3 seconds, he's not only getting teed, he's probably catching a fist to the face at that moment right there. I can't believe that ref held it all together. And for sure, technical, should have been called.
Crazy.
Now, again, it was an awesome.
Anything.
Well, you can't in that moment. I get it too, but
you can.
That was about as close as you should have called a technical at that point too.
I think it's kind of crazy, as we look at Cam Boozer, and he's going to be a top 3 pick. He could go 1 or 2, but probably goes 3. And then last year, looking at Cooper Flagg and Con Knippel, I mean, what talent they've had at Duke, but not been able to put it together. Just can't put the right team together to put this one away. And I don't know if people start talking about John Shire or what happens there. I'm excited. I'm excited for Arizona, Michigan. Who you cheering for? Anybody, Mace? Do you kind of want to see? Do you want to see UConn and Hurley? Do you want to see Illinois as the underdog, or do you want to see Michigan or Arizona? I'll tell you,
I definitely don't want to see Michigan. Definitely don't. I do not.
Okay.
I cannot ever cheer for Michigan. I don't know. I don't know why. It's not any. There's something about that program, all around. Again. You look back at the Fab Five, right?
I like them,
but they've just had a history of things that, the Harbaugh stuff.
My Sharona. Yeah, that was your cue.
There's a pomposity there for sure.
Yeah. So then
I'm a Michigan man.
I don't really care about Arizona, but they're Big 12 and all that. And I thought they've been a great team.
No, they're not.
They've been a great team all year. So I think they're. There's somebody I'd probably root for Arizona, and I don't like rooting for UConn either. So I guess I know some people that have gone. I don't know. I don't like Illinois, so I'm rooting for Arizona. All right, I've decided Arizona's my team.
We got there. Yeah. Michigan, Illinois is SEC's worst nightmare, right?
Yeah. Well, everybody's worst nightmare. I mean, unless you're Big Ten. I mean, everybody, SEC, ACC, Big 12, everybody else is, the Big Ten is going to have bragging rights if it's Michigan, Illinois. That's for sure.
Ooh, that would be crazy. Yeah.
That will be the Big Ten. The Big Ten definitely having a tournament. 6 teams in the Sweet 16, 4 teams in the Elite 8, now 2 teams in the Final 4. We will come back and wrap things up. Mason's extra points. Oh, you got that nice glass that doesn't, it's not bleeding at all. No sweat on that glass.
It's perfect.
He's Tommy Wirtz. He's Mason Crosby. I'm Mitch Nellis. We are the Mason Crosby Show.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today?
Now I'm thinking.
It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis.
Tell me what's on your mind.
On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
I don't know why, but the now I'm thinking part always sounds to me like Andy Herman. Like, did he do that bit? Like, was that him?
See that?
No, I don't think he did that. I think it was there before.
I didn't know. It's not. I
We have
don't know.
to pay him
Whenever he
every
was-
time. Every time they play that, we have to
the
pay him.
residuals on that. For
Maybe
Andy
it
Herman.
makes me think of Andy because I think that part was in his whenever he was on the station.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
okay.
And it wasn't on mine originally, and then they threw that into mine after he got
Keep a
he
piece
went
of
other-
them around.
he went separate
Yeah.
ways. But
That's right.
thanks for listening to the Mason Crosby Show. It is Monday. We are moving into the week here. Mitch is in parts unknown, and glad you're taking time to hang out with us while you're with the family. Did I see you in this tight screen? I couldn't see your whole shirt, but I think when we went widescreen, were you sleeveless at one point?
I went and changed. I went and changed
man,
from Peter
I
Bukowski
like
was
the
on.
I like the sleeveless, man. I liked it.
I am sleeveless.
Wait, how did I not notice an outfit change? In the
You didn't
middle of it?
notice?
No.
Oh, man.
That was why I turned my camera off, bro.
Oh no,
What's
that's
wrong with you?
I'm sorry to
Tommy?
out
Are
you.
broken?
I'm sorry. I
That
out
was
you.
you should have just been Alpha and Peter the entire time with
Gosh,
the sleeves.
what-
I could have.
One of these days
flash
this
the
week,
guns.
just come in, just like
I'm gonna change
shirt
my
off,
shirt.
like
Every segment.
sunscreen, like fully sunscreen, like the like full lather sunscreen.
I'm just gonna
on.
wear overalls and nothing underneath.
Well, hey,
Should I go to the beach now?
You better go to the beach. Yeah, I mean,
Or Pickles? Or do I go to Pickles?
Oh, Pickles is the best. I think
so
you just go to
good.
Pickles on your way to the beach. Yeah, that sounds
That's
like
fair.
even the that's the
Good
best
point.
point. But our house, something's going on around here, guys. Molly is laid up with a possible hamstring injury, which from
No.
playing
Tennis?
tennis. Yeah, so
No.
think about her a little
Stupid
bit.
tennis.
Hope it's not too bad because hey, a house does not run with old mama. If she's not able to do anything, we're gonna be.
Can you
we're
call
gonna be
Karen
running
in?
around.
Can you go to the bullpen calling Karen?
I'm already like, all right, yeah. What do we need to bring someone in? What are we bringing in the righty? What are we doing over here? Her parents are
Mama
awesome.
Tommy will come down.
Molly's dad
Mama
is
Tommy will come
running
down.
her around. She's going to the doctor later, so we'll get some answers. MRI. It's not me, it's her. It's like it used
Good
to always
luck.
be me. Now it's Molly this time. But I appreciate it.
All right, we'll do it again tomorrow. He's Mason Crosby. He's Tommy Wirtz on all day, pregame and postgame tonight. I'm Mitch Nellis. We're the Mason Crosby Show.
All day, Tommy.